Okay, everybody, and welcome to my cooking session. In Henley Day and I, we've not done this before, so you'll just have to excuse me. We make lots of mistakes, it doesn't matter. We just want to check that you've got everything. So I've got 2 greased trays. You might only need 1 depending on how large they are. I've got my flour, I've got my sugar, I've got an egg, I have some vanilla essence, I've got some Smarties and some chocolate drops to put in. I've got some butter or margarine, doesn't matter which you have, and I have a pinch of salt. So I've got my mixing bowl, I have my wooden spoon. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to get our sugar, and we're going to tip it into our mixing bowl. So we can all do that now. And then I'm going to get my butter, and I'm going to add it to my sugar in our bowl, and then we are going to beat it together. So you can all put your butter and sugar in. And then you might have to press it down depending on how hard, just to get it going. I hold it up so everybody can see. Just press it down gently. Try not to throw it all over the table like I have. And just get it going. Back of the spoon is good to use. I'm just going to mix it until we mix it all together. If you've just joined us, all we've done is we've put our sugar and butter or margarine, whichever you are using it, into our mixing bowl, and we are just mixing it together until it's all mixed. And it should go slightly lighter in colour once we've got it mixed. So once you get it going, and you see now mine's beginning to get coming together a bit better, you want to use your little spoon, your little finger, just to get the butter off that's stuck to your spoon. Swipe it off and then carry on. But mine's now beginning to come together because my butter is quite soft. I hope everybody's managing to do this.
I think this is the bit that takes the longest, isn't it, Mrs.
This is the longest bit, yes. We need to get it together. Put the bowl on the table and I can mix it.
I'll just come round a bit, Mrs. Maloney, so there we go.
It's beginning to be, there's a lot less sugar now. It's all being mixed in with the butter. And it should come together without the sugar being left in the bowl, so you can have it all mixed up. Everybody's like that. Everybody's beginning to look like that now, Mrs. Radcliffe. Can you see?
Yeah, can you just show us? Let's have a little look at what you've got so far. Hold it up to the camera. Wow, those are really coming together, everybody. Well done. They're starting to look like Mrs. Maloney's. Takes a bit of effort, this one. Oh, well done. I can see you there, Ollie. That's fabulous. Fantastic. I can see lots of other children. Gets your muscles working in your arms, this one.
Well, I've not really got much sugar left. I'm more or less at the stage of the next thing that we need to do. So as long as yours is looking like this, and you've hardly got any of the sugar loose in the bottom. Can you see I haven't got any sugar loose in the bottom of my bowl? It's stuck to the margarine or the butter, whichever you've used. Okay, so is everybody at that stage now? Because I don't want to carry on and add the next ingredients unless everybody's at that stage.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you're ready? You see, some children are, some children still need a couple of minutes, Mrs. Maloney, I think.
I'm just going to get something just to wipe my little finger. It's the paper towel.
So I'll just show you inside the bowl again, just so you can see what it's going to look like. Okay, Miss Maloney, I think most children are ready now. Go on,
okay, so our next ingredient that we are going to pop into our bowl is our vanilla essence. And you've probably got it in a little bottle like this. And we need a teaspoon of this. So I've got my teaspoon here, which is what you would use when you were making a cup of tea. This is what you put your sugar in. And we're just going to measure carefully, measure out a teaspoon. Doesn't matter if you've just got a little less or a little bit too much. So a teaspoon like that, and I'm just going to pop it in just like that. That's my first thing that I'm going to add. The second thing I'm going to add is my egg, okay? So you can either use the side of your bowl to hit it, to crack it, or you can use your wooden spoon, or if you've got a knife handy, that would be easy. So you just quick smash on the side, without trying to lose any of it, pull the egg apart, and into the bowl it goes. And then you can just put your shell to one side, just wipe your hands on something if you've got something to hand after you've smacking it. And then what you are going to do is you're going to mix that together, what we call beat. So you can be quite fierce with this. You don't have to do it gently. Just going to mix those two ingredients into our butter and sugar. And it should come together just like this.
It's become a lot softer now, hasn't it, Mrs. Maloney?
Yeah.
It's almost creaming together.
It doesn't matter if you've got little lumps of butter in, doesn't matter. All add to the taste.
As are you, our resident Delia, or Mary Berry.
No Paul Hollywood. So we've only got 3 more ingredients to add. So the next ingredient is our salt. Now, depending on how you're going to do this, mine's in a little pot because I've had to bring it into school, but I only need a pinch. And I would pinch that just with my fingers and I'm just going to drop it in. So it's very, very little. If you've got some salt that you want to if you wanted to put it in your hand, you don't need any more than that amount of salt. Okay, so you just need a little pinch of salt to add to your mixture. And once you have done that, you are going to add your flour. That's the next ingredient that you are going to add. And then you're just going to stir this now gently. So we're not doing it fast, we're just going to stir it together gently. So this should come together like a dough. Together. Now before it's all come together, I am going to add my chocolate or Smarties or whatever you're going to add. It could be fruit raisins or anything. You want to add those to your mixture now. So I'm just going to pour them in and then I'm going to continue mixing. I
thought you would have left some for us, Mrs. Maloney.
Sorry, all to go into our biscuits, miss. So then we're just going to mix it all together. So we've got a lovely dough. With our chocolate chips in, or Smarties, white chocolate, dark chocolate, whichever you prefer. Got a mixture in ours. So it's more or less all together now. And then that is our biscuit dough done.
That looks amazing.
That's how easy it is. Let's just, I want to use all the dough, so I'm going to scrape it all off my spoon.
Can anybody show us their dough that they've got in their bowl? Oh, wow. Look at those flurry. Amazing. Well done, Anita. That looks fantastic. Olivia. Wonderful. Those look absolutely brilliant, everybody. Well done. Amazing biscuits there. A little bit jealous that I won't get to taste all of your biscuits.
Right, now you can use your wooden spoon if you've got it there, or if you've got access to a dessert spoon, and a fork might help this. Rather than getting it on our hands and getting them all sticky and gooey, if we just put some on our spoon, not quite a full spoonful, It just depends how big you want your cookies. If you want big fat cookies, you can put lots of mixture on. If there's quite a lot of you that live at home and you'd like to have more, then you perhaps do it slightly less. So I think there's just a bit too much on that. I'm just going to spoon it off. I'm just trying to think how many children we've got in year 6 that would like a cookie.
And staff.
And staff. And I'm just going to put it onto my baking tray. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look like a circle, because it'll just fill out once it starts cooking in the oven. So that is all we are going to do. So I'm going to pick some up with my spoon, spoon it onto my baking tray, just press it down a little bit, and then that would be what my cookies would look like on my baking tray. Don't put them too close together because they will spread out in the oven and they start to cook. So it's about the size, I'd say, of just slightly smaller than a golf ball, the size that you'd be looking at putting onto your baking tray. Just gonna move that one up a little bit more space. Just add a little bit to that first one. And I'm going to continue doing this until I have put all the mixture out of the bowl onto my baking tray.
About how many cookies will it make, Mrs. Maloney?
Well, I'm on to cookie number 8. So I'd say between 6 and 10, depending on how big you make them.
But it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter though, it's entirely up to you how many you make. If you want 4 big fat ones, then you have 4 exceedingly big fat cookies, I think. And it looks like I've managed to get 10 cookies out of my mixture. You might get a little bit more depending on the size of your cookies. But I've left lots of space between them on my my baking trays. I haven't got any of my mixture left in my bowl. It's all disappeared. And I've put them ready. I'm just going to just push them down just a little bit, just to flatten them out just a little bit on my tray so that they will cook in the oven.
And like you said, in the oven, they spread out.
They will spread out, yeah. So we're going to put them in the oven in a second, and I hope you've had it on, heating it up at the right temperature. And they should take about 10 minutes. They might take a little bit longer if they're slightly bigger. So they need to be in at least 10 minutes. So you might have to put a timer on or ask Mum to check the time that you put them in. 10 minutes later, you need to check on them. They will definitely not need longer than 15 minutes because I don't want you to burn. And they should just go a slight golden colour, and they should be flat and look like cookies. They might go slightly golden on the edges, but that's when you know that they are ready to come out of the oven. When you bring them out of the oven, you will have to let them cool as well. Like Mum or Dad, whoever is at home, put them in the oven and take them out because I wouldn't like anybody to burn themselves.
So Mrs. Maloney, are ours going in the oven now?
Yes, I'm going to place these in the oven. I'm going to get my special cloth up here. Open up the oven. So I'm going to carefully put mine in the oven. So that's one tray in.
So any adults at home might be able to do this.
I imagine some of our year 6,
some of the older children
might be able to manage to put them in. It might be taken. Then I'll close in the door. My clock says 04, so I will check it at 14 minutes past. So that will be in 10 minutes to make sure that they're either nearly ready or might be ready, depending. It just depends on the size of your biscuits, how big you've made them, as how long they're going to keep in the oven.